Next, I'd like to turn from one of our newest members, new to our caucus, but new also to the House of Representatives, a young lady from the state of New Mexico. Yvette Herrell is doing just a great job in the short time that she's been here with us. And let me just tell you a little bit about New Mexico. If you want an example of a state that is reliant on this industry, oil and gas, you have to look no farther than New Mexico. I understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but at least 134,000 jobs are supported by that industry. And I know it's a huge part of your state's economy. So, Congressman Herrell, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Chairman Newhouse, for yielding, and thank you for your leadership in holding the special order. Madam Speaker, with the stroke of a pen, President Biden threatened the economies and public education systems of New Mexico, 7 other western states, 4 Gulf states, and Alaska. To put it simply, the executive actions he took on behalf of radical environmentalists to stop new oil and gas leases on federal lands is nothing short of disastrous. In New Mexico, over half the oil production and 2/3 of the natural gas production occurs on federal lands. That production employs nearly 120,000 people statewide, and estimates show a ban on new oil and gas leases could cost the state over 60,000 jobs by the end of 2022. Royalty payments and taxes from oil and gas industry contribute more than over 1/3 of our state's general fund. The loss in revenue from this leasing ban will have the greatest impact on the children of New Mexico, as over $1 billion from the oil and gas industry goes to New Mexico public schools every year. Before the ban was announced, I sent a letter to New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham asking how she would make up the lost revenue. I've yet to receive a reply. After the announcement, I introduced the Power Act along with nearly 40 of my Republican colleagues. This bill would prevent the President from halting new oil and gas leasing, along with coal, hard rock mineral, and critical mineral leasing on federal lands without consent of Congress. For too long, Congress has ceded authority over our public lands to the executive branch. This will enable Congress to take back control and stand up for the people we represent. Just yesterday, I also introduced the Protecting New Mexico's Job and Public Education System Act, which would exempt New Mexico from the current ban on new oil and gas leasing. My state would be the most negatively affected in the nation by a leasing ban. More than half of the onshore oil produced on federal lands in the U.S. is produced in New Mexico. I also must point out, Madam Speaker, that the oil and gas industry is not just about filling up our cars and heating our homes. Petroleum-based products are an essential part of our everyday lives. Petroleum-based products include many medical devices, articles of clothing, and even sporting equipment. In response to concerns we raised regarding the loss in oil and gas jobs, the Biden administration said people can just find work in the renewable energy sector. Well, Madam Speaker, that just is not good enough. In fact, statistics show workers involved in oil and gas extraction make an average of $48 an hour. How do I tell my constituents to go earn much less than that in other industries? In a time when our economy has been weakened by the COVID-19 pandemic and many of our constituents are out of work, we should be focused on protecting good-paying jobs, not eliminating them. I look forward to working with my Western Caucus colleagues over the coming weeks to promote this message and to give a voice to our constituents whose lives will be harmed by the executive actions of the Biden administration. I want to thank Chairman Newhouse again for hosting this special order, and I yield back.